In the last class, we are discussing about the physiography of India, physiography or the relief. So when we say about the physiography, we have, I said, 5 major physiographical division. One is Northern Mountains, then the Northern Plains or the Great Indian Plain, then the Peninsular Plateau, then the Coastal Plains, and finally the islands. So when we say about, we have also discussed about the Himalayan mountain system yesterday. So coming to next physiographical division, that is the plain. We can say the northern plain of India, or the Great Indian Plain, or Indo-Gangetic Plain. So we have multiple names for the same feature or the physiographical feature. That is what we are going to discuss today. So what is this plain actually? It's a flat land, flat extensive land, which is usually made by some depositional features like river deposition, wind deposition. ऐसा वाला deposition के वजह से एक देखने में फ्लैट जैसा लगेगा, ऐसा वाला extensive area को we can say it as a plain. So we have a mass plain, extensive plain just south of this Himalaya. Actually, what is this plain is there was Himalaya. I say to Himalaya hai, which is been created or which is been created after the collision by Indo-Australian plate with Eurasian plate. ये दोनों के साथ जो collision हुआ है, उसके result से we have got this Himalaya. So Himalaya lies here, and on the opposite side, we know that there is peninsular plateau. Peninsular plateauic region है. That is also some elevated portion है. तो इन दोनों के बीच में there was a depression. ऐसा एक depression था. Later, what happened is, so Himalayan region से we know that there is multiple rivers throughout Himalaya. There is multiple rivers. तो ये river क्या कर दिया? यहाँ से alluvium को इधर deposit कर दिया ये नीचे. On the other side, this is also an elevated land. This plateauic region is an elevated land. तो यहाँ से भी deposition हो गया. So finally, the basin is being filled with alluvium. So पूरा इस area पे there is alluvium deposition. So what happened is there become a new landform that is called the northern plain. The northern plain of India is being created by the rivers from Himalayas and the peninsular plateau. यहाँ से alluvium को लेके it has started depositing in this depression, and later this depression was filled by this alluvium and become the northern plain. So this is actually an alluvium deposit by the rivers. So that area, entire area is actually fertile land. But agriculture के लिए सबसे अच्छा जगह है this area. And as it is flat, this can be used for construction purpose. अच्छा road बन सकता है, बहुत कुछ uses है इसका. That we can discuss later. So this is how the northern plain is being created. This is a deep depression between northern mountain and peninsular plateau, and this land is being created by depositional land. So as this is depositional land, this is considered as one of the world's extensive alluvial structure. So that much of important for this northern plain because that is very much suitable for agriculture. Other than flood regions, flood prone regions, remaining area we can use that. For example, the most productive state of Punjab, the most productive state of Haryana, ये सब आएगा this northern plain. Agriculture में सबसे ज्यादा productivity इस जगह पे है. Punjab हो, Haryana हो, UP हो, you can see there is a vast area of land under agriculture. So when we say about the northern plain, you want to understand its general characteristics. As this is the depositional feature, I said Himalaya is the youngest fold mountain. So fold mountain के बनने के बाद ही इस plain बन गया है. So this is the youngest landform of the country. Peninsular plateau or peninsular region is the oldest one because that belongs to Gondwana land. गोंडवाना लैंड जब से था उसी दिन से पेनिनसुलर प्लेटो और वो लैंड फॉर्म उधर था. And when it collided with Eurasian plate, we got the Himalayas, the northern mountain. So after these mountains, they have started depositing. So deposition उसके वजह से, because of the result of this deposition, we have the northern plain. So that is why we are considering this is the youngest landform of the country. Still there is deposition happens. And it covers an area of 7 lakh square kilometer. So India का almost लेने से we have 32 lakhs, 32 lakhs का total coverage है, area है. India have. So out of that, almost 1/4 area is covered by this northern plain, or just below that. As I said, this area is agriculturally very productive land. It has a length of 2,400 kilometers. When we studied about Himalaya, I said it is 2,500. For northern plate, it is 100 kilometer less, that is 2,400 kilometers. And its width varies from 480 kilometer in the western side में सबसे ज्यादा है, and in the eastern side that is 145 kilometers. It stretches from Punjab, even it extends to Pakistan. When we say consider it a Indian context, it starts from Punjab to Assam. Utna is the extension here. That is being drained by Indus, Ganga, and the Brahmaputra. These are the major rivers. Major rivers of India. When we said Indus, Ganga, and Brahmaputra. So ये 3 rivers मिलके ये northern plain को बनाया है. That much of relevance is given to this northern plain. And its thickness, that means its depth, moves up to 400 meters in up to. उतना नीचे जाने से almost आधा किलोमीटर तक इसका depth है, इसका alluvium deposit है इसी area पे. So these are the major characteristics. Covers an area of 7 lakh square kilometer. Total extension length is 2,400. Width is 480 kilometer to 145 kilometers. Thickness almost 400 meters. Yani आधा kilometer almost. So this is how it is been. Extension 2,400. Width 480 to 150, then thickness, that is depth, इसका depth है 400 meter. Again this main northern plain, ये plain को divide किया है into 2 types. One is western plain and another one is eastern plain. Western plain and eastern plain. जो plain है that is being made by Indus River, we can say it as Western plain. And those river hai, it is being created by Eastern. I am saying about the majority. It is created by Ganga and Brahmaputra. Then it is known as the Eastern plain. The Western plain is as its extension towards Pakistan region may be hai, but we are only considering the Indian portion. Let's see each of this in detail. The first one, the Western plain. So it is also known as the Indus plain. I said the Western plain is made or created by the Indus River and its tributaries. So it is also known as the Indus plain, as it is mostly covering the Punjab and Haryana region. It is also known as the Punjab plain and also Haryana plain. So जो Punjab plain है, when we study about the regional divisions of North Indian plain, we will say usually Punjab plain, Haryana plain, UP plain, Bihar plain, West Bengal plain, Assam plain, ऐसा बोलता है. So this first two, Punjab and Haryana plain, this comes under the Western plain. That belongs to the Western side. Along with this, we have the Rajasthan Maristal. Yesterday also when I talked about the physiographical division, after island I said we have the Rajasthan desert region. That can be considered as another physiographical division, but usually we are adding this to the Western plain region, the Maristal, Rajasthan Maristal area, because it is considered as the southern extension of the Western plain. So it can be termed as Indus plain, it can be termed as Punjab plain, it can be termed as Haryana plain. So it has slope gently towards west, extending towards Pakistan through Punjab. Aisa hai. So it is being divided by some feature. I said that is actually the extension of Aravalli hai. यहाँ से इसका मूव स्लोप ही है वेस्टवर्ड, उतना ज्यादा नहीं. तो पंजाब रीजन से that will move up to the Pakistan. If you look at this picture, you can see यहाँ से शुरू होकर it is moving. तो यहाँ तक इंडिया है, इंडिया यहाँ तक खत्म होगा, इंडिया का पोर्शन. Remaining is actually Pakistan region है. तो पंजाब से शुरू होकर that will move towards Pakistan region. And it is being drained mostly by Sutlej River, Beas River, Ravi River. These are all tributaries of Indus. वो सतलज का ट्रिब्यूटरीज है, सतलज, बियास, रेवी, ये सब आएगा इसके अंदर. So when we say about the Western plain, you have to understand another term, that is dob. Dob is like that. अभी एक रिवर ऐसा जा रहा है, दूसरा रिवर ऐसा जा रहा है, तो इसके बीच में एक लैंड होगा, इसके बीच में एक लैंड होगा. That land is termed as the dob. So we have mainly 5 dobs in Western plain region. One is Bari dob, second one is Bist dob, then Rachna dob, Jay dob, and Sindh Sagar dob. Out of this, 2 is important for India. One is Bari dob and Bist dob. So when you are writing about the Western plain, you can just write these 2 dobs, that is Bari dob and Bist dob, because these 2 dobs you can see here, Bist dob here and Bari dobs here. तो इंडियन रीजन में मोस्टली ये दोनों आता है, most of the area, Bari dobs and Bist dob. So Bari dob is the land which lies between Ravi River and Beas River. Ravi River, a Ravi River है, and this is Beas River. ये दोनों के बीच में आएगा बारी. Then Bist आएगा. This is Satluj River. ये आएगा Satluj. This is Satluj, and this is Ravi. Sorry, Beas. तो Beas आ गया, Ravi हो गया. इन दोनों के बीच में हो गया Bist. So these are the important dops, land that is fertile in the western plain. If we consider the other portion also, in between 𝐀𝐏 and Ravi, 𝐀𝐏, this is 𝐀𝐏 and this is Ravi. इन दोनों के बीच में आएगा Dachna Dob. Then again between Jhelum, this is Jhelum and this is 𝐀𝐏. इन दोनों के बीच में आएगा Jhet Dob. Then Jhelum River and main Indus River. ये दोनों के बीच में आएगा Sindh Sagar Dob. So these are the major dobs in the western plains. Then there is another landform associated with this. ये तो ऐसा है, most of the rivers, maybe 𝐀𝐏 Air sub river has most of its running type in rainy season. Rainy season में है, it carries too much of water. So during that time, it carries pebbles and cobbles. Pebbles and cobbles को. So this is the slope here. So Ravi and वो rivers है, Indus का जो tributaries है, when they are coming, they will start depositing pebbles and cobbles at some point. यहाँ ये deposit करेगा. And during other time, वो rainy season cover करके दूसरे कुछ time हो गया, तो क्या होगा, ये पानी कम है तो ये इधर आएगा and it will disappear at this point and will re-emerge at some other point, making marshy land. क्योंकि ये पूरा filter होके tiny particles ही इसी जगह पे आएगा and there is deposition of clay. The area which is being choked with voltage is known as the chaws, this area. And the area which is being marshy, ये जो marshy area है, this is known as the mud mant. ये याद रखना है. So these are another two terms associated with western plain. The only perennial river in this area is Ghaggar. Ghaggar बोल के एक river है, that is the only perennial river. बाकी सब में पानी उतना ज्यादा पानी होगा, उतना ज्यादा नहीं होगा. That's a non-perennial. That is being considered as non-perennial river, which carries water during rainy season. I said there is a depression for, यहाँ हम बोल दिया था, इसका slope western side में है, extension Punjab through, so there is some division. So this is western plains. So यहाँ हो गया eastern plain. So there is something which is separate this western plain from eastern plain. That is actually the Delhi Aravalli range. Delhi Aravalli range. That is not such a big Aravalli range का जो extension है, that is actually this Delhi Aravalli ridge system. Slight height है, उधर से इसका movement है. इसका slope उधर से one side western side में जाएगा, दूसरा eastern side में जाएगा. जो eastern side में जाएगा, that is known as the eastern plain. जो western side में इसका slope है, that is western plain. So western plain में ये सब इतना सा point याद रखना है. Along with this, there is one more thing I said. Other than Punjab and Haryana, we have the Rajasthan plain also, which is known as the Rajasthan Marustal. Rajasthan plain region. This includes Marustali, that is desert, and Rajasthan Bagar areas to the west of Aravallis. जो Aravallis के western region में. We know that Aravalli is usually mainly seen in Rajasthan region. इसका western side में होगा. So that area usually that is Marustali, desert climate, desert area. So there is less water, but the deposition is made by wind. So usually there is some hesitation to add this Marustali or Rajasthan plain along with the western plain, because in western plain most of the plain is created by the river or the fluvial action, but in Rajasthan plain mostly it is being created by wind action or the aeolian action. But yahan also we can see a river, that is the Luni river, which is the only river which empties to the sea. Remaining river maximum reach up to this Paristar. And yahan ek aur peculiarity hai, this region was under marine submergence which receded during the upliftment of Himalayan phase. So there exist several brackish lakes in this region. Sambar lake, so that is actually the salty lake hai. Ye lake kahan se hai? When there is convergent movement between these two places, that is Indo-Australian plain and Eurasian plain, I said there was a sea in between that is 𝐤𝐵 Sea. So ऐसा collision हो गया, so there was a depression, so उधर 𝐤𝐵 Sea था, that 𝐤𝐵 Sea started receding, and instead क्या हो गया, there were multiple lakes. So that was already a sea. So we know that sea also have salty water. So these lakes which exist in this Marustal also got the same characteristics. That is brackish in nature. Important lake is the Sambar lake. As I said, as this shows the characteristic, this area is not totally covered by alluvial soil. It is mostly sandy and have multiple dunes in this area. That is about the western plain. Now we can move to the eastern plain region. Eastern plain, तो एक plain जो बनाया है Indus ने. So we have two more big rivers in India, that is Ganga and Brahmaputra. So this eastern plain is created by the action of this Ganga and Brahmaputra. It covers almost 3/4 area of the entire northern plain. Remaining 1/4 is covered by the Ganga plain. उतना ज़्यादा influence है इसका. If you look at the picture, you can see Ganga ऐसा आ रहा है, पूरा extend होके till West Bengal ऐसा. यहाँ से there is Brahmaputra merging. तो इसका एक और है important tributary, that is Yamuna. तो ऐसा चंबल, ये दामोदर, ये बहुत कुछ rivers है इसको बनाने वाला. The depth, it is not mentioned, but western plains के ज़्यादा, western plain हम said it was 400 meter depth है. So almost all area have more than 400 meter depth of alluvial deposit in this eastern plain. And as I said, Ganga moving from west to, this is western side, to eastern side. So slope is towards the east. इसी डायरेक्शन, ईस्टर्न डायरेक्शन में है इसका स्लोप, और एक्जैक्टली से नॉर्थ वेस्ट टू साउथ ईस्ट डायरेक्शन में है द ईस्टर्न प्लेन्स का स्लोप. सो इट इंक्लूड्स Assam plain. When we move from eastern side, it has Assam plain. It has Bengal plain, that is West Bengal. Then Bihar plain and UP plain, Uttar Pradesh plain. Remaining Haryana, Punjab and Rajasthan plain goes to Western plain region. Here also you can see DOBS. DOBS we have mentioned earlier, that is a land between two rivers. So we know that there is Yamuna, there is Ganga, there is there is Damodar, there is Ram Ganga, ऐसा multiple rivers है इस area. So इन सबके बीच में lands है. So there are some important DOBS that is being seen in this eastern plain region as well. Along with these DOBS, we have the DWARs, which is actually the floodplains in east and the northeast India. जो floodplain है, which is being created by Ganga and Brahmaputra, especially we know that as we are in Arunachal Pradesh, we know that we have floodplains for Brahmaputra, that is usually seen in Assam region. So that flood area we usually say it as DWARs, Assam DWARs. So there is two landform associated. One is DOBS and another one is DWARs. Chaos and manned DOBS are associated with Western plain also. Here it is DOBS and the DWARs. So let's see what are the important DOBS of eastern plains. One is the western part of the plain, that is between Haridwar and Aligarh. Haridwar region से Aligarh region, that is in UP region तक, there is one बड़ा द्वाब है, that is known as the upper Dwabs or upper Ganga Dwabs. Then from Aligarh to Allahabad, there is another Dwab that is known as the middle Dwab. So there is two Dwabs here. That is the land. This is actually the upper Ganga portion and middle Ganga portion के almost middle तक है. So यहाँ flooding is comparatively less. So that area we can say it as DOB. In between Ganga and Yamuna also, Ganga and Yamuna, that is in the southern bank. ये जो जगह है, that is also known as Ganga Yamuna DOBs. There is three important DOBs at this region. But when we move eastwards, the concept changed. The DOBs, the land between these rivers is mostly flooded. So इसका नाम change करके we have given another name, that is DWARs. That is actually the flood plains. Source of Bengal, that is Damodar river. That comes अभी यहाँ आने से दामोदर river है. तो ये river जो बनाएगा, that is the flood plain बनाएगा. That is known as the DWARs. So that happens when it happens in Bengal, we can say it as Bengal DWARs. And in this area, we know that is being created by the Brahmaputra. That is known as the Assam DWARs. So there is two DWARs, important DWARs in this region. That is important to floodplains. So this is about the western. If you look at this is about the eastern plains. Eastern plains में एक और division दिया है for the Ganga plain. That is upper Ganga plain, middle Ganga plain, and the lower Ganga plain. And at this point, we can say it as Brahmaputra plain. So instead of giving the state's name, that I mentioned earlier, the UP, Bihar, Bengal, Assam plain. Instead, we can also say upper Ganga plain, middle Ganga plain, and the lower Ganga plain. We can say like that. Upper Ganga हो गया. If you look at this, यहाँ से पंजाब हरियाणा plain हो गया, and यहाँ से southward extension हो गया राजस्थान plain. So this comes under western plain के नीचे आ गया. Then at eastern side there is upper Ganga plain, then middle Ganga plain, then the lower Ganga plain. Then यहाँ Brahmaputra plain. So these are the plains that comes under the eastern plains. So I have mentioned almost all the important plain regions. Big plain region है इस northern plain में. इसका main category हो गया western and eastern. Western में हो गया पंजाब हरियाणा and राजस्थान. Eastern में हो गया UP, Bihar, Bengal and the Assam. ये हो गया. Other than that, we can also divide that into Ganga plain, upper Ganga plain, upper Gangetic plain, or upper Ganga plain, middle Ganga plain or middle Gangetic plain, lower Ganga or lower Gangetic plain, then the Brahmaputra plain. So these are the important terms, names associated with. But there are local plains also, which is very important. यहाँ हम बोल दिया है इसी रीजन में द्वार है, बंगाल द्वार है, तो उधर फ्लैट प्लेन है. And as we know that there is some deposition at this area that is termed as वो river side में, river mouth में near to the sea there is another kind of deposition in the form of deltas. तो ऐसा एक delta यहाँ भी है, that is the Sundarban delta. So this is also a part of lower Ganga plain. इसके अंदर one of the important area is Sundarban delta region. One of the world's largest delta region है इसी area का. इसी area में. This area. यहाँ we know that white tigers ऐसा बहुत कुछ है, and this area is actually fertile, and the main important tree is Sundari. That is why that area is known as Sundarban. Sundarban इसलिए तो ये area को बोलता है. Another important plain, local plain is Rohilkhand plain. It is in the northwestern part of UP. Rohilkhand, you can see here. Actually lies in upper Ganga plain है. Why it gets its name? Because there existed one of the important tribes of India, that is Rohilla tribe, that is being existed here. Then the Awadh plain, that is almost at the central region, located in the central part of UP between 𝗂𝗏𝗆𝐿 in the east and Rohilkhand in the west. इसी एरिया में भी know that is 𝗂𝗏𝗆𝐿 है. इसी एरिया पे 𝗂𝗏𝗆𝐿 है, एंड इसी एरिया पे रोहिलखंड है. तो इसके बीच में आएगा अवाध प्लेन. इन द अर्ली टाइम ये पूरा एग्रीकल्चर लैंड है, तो इधर दिस एरिया is considered as the granary of India. तो उतना सा प्रोडक्शन उसी एरिया में था in Uttar Pradesh. Later, after Green Revolution, that has been moved to Punjab and Haryana region, but this area was earlier known as the granary of India. Then Rah plain between Chota Nagpur plateau in the west and Ganga river on the east. That is this plain. यहाँ से गंगा प्लेन ऐसा जाएगा, यहाँ हमारा छोटा नागपुर प्लेटो है, इसके बीच में आएगा राह प्लेन. यूजुअली दिस एरिया इज ड्रेन्ड बाय दामोदर रिवर है, You heard of हुगली रिवर के बारे में सुना, हुगली रिवर के बारे में सुना होगा. And Hooghly is an industrial area. So this Rah plain is located at the same area. So this area is mainly for industrial activities, Rah plain. And you have the Chhattisgarh plain also, which lies in Chhattisgarh area, Chhattisgarh state mein hai. There also you can see lot of mining industries at this point area. So all these comes. These are the important local plains you want to understand. That is about the Great Plains of India, especially North India. We have another two plain areas, that is coastal plains on the western side and coastal plains on the eastern side. That we can discuss on later classes. And let's see some of the important features that is being created by deposition action. Actually, when we say about plain, it is usually formed by the depositional action of either fluvial action, aeolian action के वजह से इस deposition होता है. So there are certain terms you want to understand. One is Babar, second one is Tarai, then Bangar, then Khadar. ये दोनों एक साथ बोलता है, Bangar and Khadar, Babar and Tarai एक साथ, then Ray and Kallar, then the Bur. इतना सा term भी याद रखना है. I said about the chaws and the mand. Actually, in general, for the same, we use two other terms, that is Babar and the Tarai. The pebble-studded rock bed where the river disappears and reappears after this area is known as the Babar. So पहले हम when we studied about the western plain, I said about the chaws and the वो deposition के बारे में बोल दिया था, pebbles and cobbles का deposition. So that area generally we say it as Babar. And after that there is a marshy land. In that area it is known as the mand. Actually it is commonly stated as Tarai. You can use this term instead of that, but you can't use that term instead of this. Then another two terms, that is Bangar and Khadar. One is old alluvium, calcareous concentration, calcium carbonate का concentration इसी area पे ज़्यादा है. Then the newer alluvium. ये ऐसा है, एक river is flowing, यहाँ से flow हो रहा है, तो it will start depositing. इसका तो deposition इसका side में होगा. तो ये कैसे है, एक बार डिपॉजिट करेगा, दूसरे बार डिपॉजिट करेगा, तो इसके सामने होगा न्यू अलुवियम, सबसे सामने होगा न्यू अलुवियम. बट earlier this river may have gone through this side or this side and there will be deposition at this place, or there may be flooding happen to this. ये इसको तो flooding हुआ होगा, तो इसका भी deposition you can see at far off this particular river के दूर में you can see deposition, alluvial deposition. That kind of deposition is known as the Bangar, that is old, पुराना है. At the same time Khadar is new alluvium, that is usually in floodplain. जो floodplain है नहीं, ये तो river का जो सामने area है उसी area पे अभी continuously deposition जहां पे हो रहा है, that is known as the Khadar. As the river is closer, this area have a high water table. Water table उधर high होगा उसी area पे. So ये दोनों term भी आप लोग याद रखना है. Then ray or color, that is a saline deposit in barren dry lands. जो लेक के बारे में हम बोल दिया है, I say वो 33 के बारे में हम बोल दिया है. So there are areas, especially in the Rajasthan plain, you can see ऐसा वाला saline deposits, white color patches you can see. That is usually known as the ray or the kalda. तो ये भी याद रखना है. Because why I am stating these are, this can be come as one word questions. Then Phur, that is elevated piece of land situated along the Ganga plain. तो यहाँ है, these are dobbs के बारे में हम बोल दिया है. That is actually the land, elevated land between two rivers. तो गंगा रीजन के इस जगह पे ऐसा लैंड्स है, but that is being created by fluvial action. dobbs के बारे में बोलने से. But there are lands which is being created by wind action. Elevated piece of lands होगा. जैसे हमारा desert region में dunes होता है, same like dunes like formation, elevate करके river के सामने भी होगा. That is known as the bore. तो ये सब terms you want to understand. So these are all depositional features. Then the significance of northern plains. As I said, this is alluvium, so that it is fertile. So it is fertile soil created by numerous of river. It is very fertile. And another thing is that as that area, most of the area, it is getting optimum rainfall. ज़्यादा नहीं है, कम नहीं है. Getting enough rainfall. So the climate is pleasant. I am not saying always, because there are some in March, April, May season में उधर temperature बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगा. But still that is suitable for agriculture. So this area enjoys a long growing season. है. पानी भी enough मिलता है, fertile soil है, नदी से भी पानी मिलता है, तो we can continuously cultivate at that particular. Another thing is that as the land is flat, construction can be easily possible. So there, that area is usually highly populated area होगा and highly industrial area होगा, क्योंकि transportation facility बनाने के लिए flat land है, easy है construct करने के लिए. Population settlement उसी area पे ज्यादा होगा, क्योंकि flat land है, ground water potential भी है, fertile agriculture के लिए भी suitable है, construction के लिए भी suitable है. So there will be high population density. And construction of multi-purpose dam, both for irrigation and generating electricity, is also possible, because we know that there is multiple rivers. When we study about the drainage systems of India, we can go for that, but that is also high at this area. Topography is favorable for irrigation and agriculture prospects. This area is culturally and religiously significant, with extensive literature, arts, architecture, as well as scaled rivers. ये ऐसा है. वो अभी हम फॉर्चुनेट ताजमहल इसी एरिया पे है. Most of the major kingdoms, Mughals kingdoms, ये सब कहाँ है? It is being Gupta, ये सब आया है mainly in this plain area. And as the rivers are transported, वो flat area में है, तो उतना ज़्यादा gradient भी नहीं है. So this can be used for transportation, navigation purpose के लिए भी this can be used. So these are the some of the uses of this northern plains. So this much you want to keep in mind. Sometimes when you look, it has been written as, instead of western plains and eastern plains, you can see Punjab plain, Haryana plain, but these are comes under western है, तो ईस्टर्न प्लेन में देखने से यू कैन सी द नेम ऑफ द स्टेट अलोंग विद दिस प्लेन, that can also be come, but that can be included in the eastern plain regions. And जो डॉप्स बोला है, ये याद रखना है, डॉप, द्वार्स, चौस, मैन, बंगार, खादर, ये सब ऐसा वाला टर्म्स को इसमें ज्यादा याद रखना है. What is that? That's about, yes.
द्वाप और द्वार जो अलग अलग है ना.
हाँ, द्वाप से ऐसा रिवर जा रहा है, दो रिवर जा रहे हैं, उनके बीच में जो एलिवेटेड एरिया है, लैंड है, दैट इज कॉल्ड द्वाप्स. बट कुछ एरिया पे अभी देखो गंगा ऐसा आ रहा है ना, ऊपर से दिल्ली से ऐसे आकर वेस्ट बंगाल में एंड होगा. तो इसी एरिया पे व्हेन इट्स मूव्स डाउनवर्ड्स, उसी एरिया पे ज्यादा फ्लडिंग होता है. तो ऐसा एलिवेटेड लैंड में ज्यादा पानी आएगा, इसी एरिया पे फ्लड ज्यादा होगा उसी एरिया पे. दैट इज नोन एज द द्वार्स, बिकॉज दैट इज लो लाइंग लाइन्स. यस, ओके, क्लियर?
ओके सर, थैंक यू सर.
तो नेक्स्ट क्लास में वी कैन डिस्कस अबाउट ग्रेट इंडियन प्लेटो.
ओके सर.